Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Let's Vibe podcast. We are your hosts, Nikita and
Sai. Today we'll be talking about ourselves so you get to know us better.
Sai. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'm Sai Vaishnavi Tota. I'm 13 years old and I'm gonna turn 14 soon.
Okay, I'm Nikita Susan Matthew, and I just recently turned 15.
So, moving on to our hobbies. I like weaving, jump roping, crochet, swimming, reading, and badminton.
Okay, for me, I like writing, reading, dancing, singing, cooking, baking, doing DIYs, but those take a lot of time, watching videos, and so on.
That was a long list. Okay, so I wanna share my first impression of you. I personally knew you from kindergarten, but you were such a famous, cool kid. Like everyone wanted to be you. You were the kid who everyone wanted to be, the cool, smart, intelligent person. And I always wanted to be like you. I admired you so much. And I was like, I have to become Nikita one day. I am going to be the future Nikita of the world. Yeah, that was my first impression about you. You?
Yeah, for me, I like basically knew you from kindergarten, but like I don't know what was my first impression of you because like I obviously knew you as a classmate, but we weren't like close friends. Like I knew you existed up until seventh grade, but like it wasn't like we were like always talking to each other or anything. Like we didn't know each other that well. So yeah, that was it. Now the next is how did we become friends? I think this is an interesting story, so I'll start. I remember at first, that was around sixth grade, seventh grade. We live in a foreign country, so most of the people here will leave back to their home country to pursue like their studies when they're in a higher grade. So, like by the time it was seventh grade, most of our friends were like leaving. So, my friends were also leaving. So, I decided to socialize a little bit more with everyone in the class so I could find my like next best friend list. So I was just, socializing with everybody. And at first, you weren't exactly a person I was going to do it with. Like, I didn't think you would be my friend because, like, every time you talk to me, you'd get this fake accent, a British accent. And I always thought that was really weird. And I think I actually talked to you. I was like, I asked you, like, are you doing this purposely or like what's going on? And you told me that you wanted to go to Britain in the future. So you're like practicing to get your British accent. So I thought, that's great. And I think I told you to work, you can work hard on it and it'll be all great. So yeah, and then I think like we became more of friends when in eighth grade we became partners in class. That is, we sat next to each other. And like at first we were just hi, hello, that's it. But then we started talking, and then you're like we were like really like having deep conversations about like everything. And I thought like, hey, she's a very cool person, and like I relate with her so much that I can't stop talking if I start talking with her because we'll just go on from topic to topic. And one memory that really sticks out in my mind is our picnic of eighth grade. And I remember we stuck together the entire time. And like, I remember us going on rides together. Some of y'all forcing me to go on rides, which I thought I would hate, but instead I loved. And I wanted to go a second time, but I couldn't, sadly. And I also remember us chickening out of some rides because we were too scared. So yeah, yeah, that's my side. How was yours?
Basically, like in eighth grade, we were like kind of like getting close to each other, having
Hmm?
deep conversations. And actually, when I was like talking to you then, I was like, Nikita is not the person who I actually thought she was, not the bossy person who I actually thought she was. No, she was like a really cool person who I had so many common interests with. And I was really interested. I was like, I need a friend like her. She's like a really cool person. And yeah,
Yeah. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our inspiration for starting this podcast because it's not something that people might know.
yeah. So, like, we had like an English class assignment. We were supposed to like do a podcast on an episode about anything, basically about fitness, sports, or something like that. So we were like, there were many people before us who were doing it, and then we were very interested, and we thought like we are like really close to each other, and then we thought it'd be cool together.
Yeah, so we started this podcast called the Pod Squad Podcast, but it wasn't official or anything. It was just to show in front of our class and our teacher. And then we started, we thought it was really cool. And then our friends, the roller casters, they started an actual official podcast and they were like encouraging us to do so as well. So that's how we started this. Now, last question. I think this one is a little bit of a, something that will be cool to end it with. So, how was 2020 for us? I'll start. I don't think many people would agree with me, but I felt like 2020 was not a bad year at all. Like, I actually really liked it. One of the things that I've always wanted to do as a child was to write books. So I like writing stories, but I always thought of it as something that I would do after I was like an adult, after I had my own job and everything. So I never gave it much of a thought when I was younger. But then I attended this class and I got a lot of inspiration to write it. And my first like set of stories, like two stories, got published on an online platform this year, last year. So that was like really cool. And I also, even though like we were all stuck at home, I actually did enjoy it. Like I got to spend a lot more time with my family and that. And I also talked a lot with Sai, and like we were having 1 to 2 hour long conversations until our parents had to drag us off the phone because it was engaged for so long. So yeah, I think we became a lot more closer, like during 2020 and like now moving on to 2021.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, not the best year of my life. Major changes took place, but I mean, it's just the way life is.
Yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it for this week's episode. This wraps up everything.
Yeah. Tune in next Saturday for our second episode.
Join us and let's vibe.